So recently, the one and only Peter McKinnon made a review of his 50mm lens. And as a fanboy, I thought of making kind of the same video. I thought of reviewing my own 50mm lens. But the thing is, Pete reviewed a Canon lens because as we all know, the guy's a Canon ambassador. But in this video, we are going to feature a Sony lens. And that is because I am proud to announce that Danboxing PH is a Sony user or lover, whatever. Just not an ambassador yet. How I wish. Anyway, yeah, let's do Sony. Before anything else, I'd like to officially welcome you to my channel. Thank you for making it past the intro. If you are into cameras, gadgets, technologies, all that good stuff, please do subscribe and hit that bell if you haven't yet. In that case, you won't miss out on anything from this channel. Having that out of the way, let's talk about why I personally think that the Sony 50mm F1.2 G Master lens is the best prime lens, period. Firstly, the Sony 50mm G Master has a shallow depth of field. Due to its wide aperture, this lens has incredible depth of field. Like it has a very nice shallow depth of field resulting to decent background separation. And for those who don't know me yet, I am a bokeh addict. Like for real. I like shots that have the subject in perfect focus and leaving everything else totally blurred out. And guess what? This lens is more than capable of doing that. So whenever I need a subject to pop out of the background, I reach out for this lens almost all the time. Not only that it gives me that bokeh effect, I am completely blown away on the low light performance of this lens. Like I always feel that f1.4 is more than good enough for me. So f1.2 is kind of, a game changer. And I mean that. Good job, Sony. Secondly, the Sony 50mm G Master is not too bulky. Some people might not agree with me on this, but the reason why I consider this lens not too bulky is because of its features. What I mean is, with the optical performance of this lens, I honestly find it hard to believe how Sony managed to incorporate everything in this compact body. As a matter of fact, I am super okay with its size that ever since I got this, it's on my camera 95% of the time. It is that comfortable to carry around. Well, at least for me. Thirdly, the Sony 50mm G Master is sharp, even wide open. Actually, one of the drawbacks I heard or I noticed in some of the reviews I watched about this lens is that this lens is not as sharp at f1.2. I've been heavily using this lens for quite some time now, and allow me to submit this to you. This lens, in my opinion, is super duper sharp even at f1.2. Like I'm absolutely happy with the details I'm getting out of this lens. May it be for a casual shoot or a paid gig, it hasn't failed me yet. In fact, I gotta say that this could be one of the sharpest lenses I've tried so far. That sounded like a song. I've tried so far. Anyway, well, I don't pixel peep or whatsoever, but I do a lot of cropping in or zooming in my photos. Thus, sharpness is something that I look for in lenses. And so far, I am very well satisfied with the image sharpness this lens is giving me at pretty much all f-stops. Fourthly, the Sony 50mm G Master has a versatile focal length. If you have been following this channel for quite some time now, you know that back when I was using an APS-C camera, my go-to focal length is 35mm. For some reason, I find that useful for many things I do as a content creator. However, on an APS-C body, you don't get to maximize the focal length of a lens due to its 1.5 crop factor. Thus, 35mm is actually around 50 to 52mm. So when I switch to full-frame body, 50mm is kind of my comfort zone. Thus, of all my lenses so far, besides the amazing features, this Sony 50mm has been my go-to for both photography and videography. I use it for my thumbnails, portraits, landscapes, etc. Personally, I recommend the 50mm focal length if you're starting, as it gives that natural perspective of things. Not too wide, not too tight. Just right on the sweet spot. One last thing, the Sony 50mm G Master has unmatched autofocusing system. It's kind of expected since it's a native lens, and besides that, it's one of the top lenses of Sony as of today. Plus the fact that Sony is known for its amazing autofocusing system. Like so far, I have absolutely zero complaints about the tracking and the focusing of this lens. It's fast, it's accurate, and responsive. I also like that it's not as noisy as other lenses when focusing. Hence, whenever I do videos, I love that it's silent the entire time. How amazing is that? Now that we're done with the good stuff about this lens, allow me to balance things out by giving you the not so good stuff as well. The Sony 50mm G Master is obviously expensive. By the time this video is made, this lens is priced at a whopping $2,400. Yes, you heard it right. And that is just the lens itself. Nothing more, nothing less. So obviously, it is super duper expensive. And I don't know about you, but at this day and age, that is hard to swallow. $2,000 for just a single piece of glass. That's just unbelievable. Hence, as much as I want to recommend this lens for as many people as possible, the price of this lens is really not for everybody. Also, the Sony 50mm G Master is not wide enough. Although yes, personally I love the 50mm focal length, but there are still occasions that I find it not wide enough. Like for example, I met with my fiancée last weekend, and while we were in the car, we decided to make a video for her channel. By the way, if you are into jolly, lifestyle, question and answer type of content, please do check her channel out. I'll drop her link in the description box below. Anyway, I only had the 50mm that time, and for me the video output was a bit too tight. I mean, it was okay, the video was fine, we had a great time, but how I wish it could be wider to capture more of the background and not just our faces. That being said, this lens isn't for handheld vlogging neither. You just gotta take note of that. Another thing is, the Sony 50mm G Master is seriously heavy. Again, yes, I mentioned that this lens is not too bulky, but it is heavy. Like seriously heavy. Totally not a deal breaker for me, but you might want to take note of that as well. Finally, the Sony 50mm G Master is not stabilized. Of course, I get it that this is a full frame lens, so it's meant for cameras that have IBIS, the in-body image stabilization. So yes, that might not that big of a deal either, but I just thought of mentioning that. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. As for conclusion, considering the good and the not so good things about this lens, I personally believe that if you're looking for a 50mm lens, this is the way to go. I understand that there are plenty of options out there that are less expensive, but like I said before, lenses are not a one-hit wonder. You know what I'm saying? Like with proper care and maintenance, they will serve you with optimum performance for such a long period of time, even if you change or upgrade cameras. So the idea of investing on lenses is very much ideal, at least in my opinion. Thus, if you have the resources and you'll need such prime performance, I am telling you, this is worth it. There you go, folks. I am sure I wasn't able to cover everything, so let me know your thoughts in the comment section, or we can connect on Instagram or on Facebook. As I end, if you're getting value from this video, please do like and subscribe for more not super technical, but rather practical approach to gadgets and technologies. Until then, thank you for watching. Oh, by the way, I love the build quality of this lens and also the composition of this lens. Let me just run you through it quickly. Let me start with the label. Yeah, it has the label. The 50mm G Master F1.2. Yes, right there. You can use that aperture ring in two ways. Clickless and with click sounds. There you go. It also has a toggle switch right there for the click key or the not click key. Yeah. And also the focus mode switch, the autofocus, and the manual focus, autofocus, manual focus switch right there. And what else? There, it has two customizable button. I don't know what you call it, but yeah, the two customizable buttons. One right here, sorry, there. One right here and one right here. There. So yeah. And also, this is my favorite, by the way, the lens hood. The lens hood has this rubber end so that it would be more protected if you accidentally drop it or whatever. Yeah. I haven't dropped this, thank God, but it's a good thing to have it there. And this is the big secret. The lens hood, this is my first time to use a lens hood with this composition. The lens hood, the inner portion, this is plastic, by the way, obviously, but the inner portion has this type of fabric, and I love that. It feels really premium. It feels really expensive. Yeah, obviously, it is expensive. Yeah, so I really love the build quality and the composition of this lens. I think I wasn't able to mention that the entire video, but yeah, I wasn't able because, anyway, I don't know why, but yeah, here I am saying it to you. Yeah. That's it. Having that out of the way, let's talk about why I personally think that secondly, the Sony 50mm GMOS. I honestly find it hard to believe how Sony managed to incorporate everything in this compact body. Anyway, well, I don't pixel peep or whatsoever, but I do a lot of cropping in or zooming in my photos. Thus, sharpness is something. Well, I I don't well I don't. Thus, of all my lenses so far, this is. By the time this video is made, this lens is priced at a whopping f2. What? Like for example, I met with my fiancée last weekend and thus if you have the resources and you'll need such prime performance,